Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing this morning? We are so glad that you're here. Come on, stand up and we're going to sing together.
Just one word, you calm the storm that surrounds me. Just one word, the darkness has to retreat. Just one touch, I feel the presence of heaven. Just one touch, my eyes were open to see. My heart can't help but believe. There's nothing that our God can't do. There's not a mountain that he can't move. Oh, praise the name that makes a way. There's nothing that our God can't do. Just one word, you heal what's broken inside me. Just one word, and you revive every dream. Just one touch, I feel the presence of heaven. Just one touch, my eyes were open to see. My heart can't help but believe. There's nothing that our God can't do. There's not a mountain that he can't move. Oh, praise the name that makes a way. There's nothing that our God can't do. There's nothing that our God can't do. There's not a prison wall he can't break through. Oh, praise the name that makes a way. There's nothing that our God can't do. no power like the power of Jesus. Let faith arise and let all agree. There's no power like the power of Jesus. I will believe for greater things. There's no power like the power of Jesus. Let faith arise, let all agree. There's no power like the power of Jesus. I will believe for greater things. There's no power like the power of Jesus. Let faith arise, let all agree. There's no power like his power. There's nothing that our God can't do. It's not a mountain that he can't move. Oh, praise the name that makes a way. There's nothing that our God can't do. There's nothing that our God can't do. There's not a prison wall he can't break through. Oh, praise the name that makes a way. There's nothing that our God can't do. There's nothing, nothing, nothing. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. There's nothing that our God can't do. How many of y'all believe that? How many of y'all believe we have a God, there's nothing he can't do for us? You believe that? We're going to keep singing out to him and singing praises and worshiping a God that can do anything for us.
Go and sing, I've tried. I've tried so hard to see it. Took me so long to believe it. That you choose someone like me to carry your victory. Perfection could never earn it. You give what we don't deserve, and you take the broken things and raise them to glory. You are my champion. Come on, sing it out. Giants fall when you stand undefeated. Every battle you've won. I am who you say I am, Lord. You crown me with confidence. I am seated in the heavenly place, undefeated, with the one who has conquered it all. Sing now. Now I can finally see it. You're teaching me how to receive it. Let all the striving cease. So this is my victory. You are my champion. Oh, giants fall when you stand undefeated. Every battle you've won. I am who you say I am. You crown me with confidence. I am seated in the heavenly place, undefeated, with the one who has conquered it all. Oh, Jesus. Oh, you've conquered it all. Come on, let's lift our voice this morning. Come on, sing this out. When I lift my voice and shout, every wall comes crashing down. I have the authority. Come on. Jesus has given me. Come on, sing it out. When I open up my mouth, miracles start breaking out. I have the authority. Come on, you have it. Sing it. Jesus has given me. When I lift my voice and shout, every wall comes crashing down. I have the authority. Come on, declare that. You have the authority. Jesus has given me. Sing it again. When I open up my mouth, miracles start breaking out. I have the authority. Jesus has given me. You are my champion. Giants fall when you stand undefeated. Every battle you've won. I am who you say I am. You crown me with confidence. I am seated in the heavenly place, undefeated, with the one who has conquered it all. Oh, come on, use your voice this morning. Come on, he's given you all authority in your voice. What are you dealing with this morning? What walls need to come crashing down? Come on, what is it in your life that is keeping you from moving forward? I want you to use your voice this morning and call those things out. Fear, you have no place. Depression, you have no place. Come on, take a hold of your life. Come on, if you don't use your key, if you don't use your voice, nothing's gonna change. You gotta want it. Come on, we're gonna sing it out and I want you to declare. Come on, speak to those things this morning. Come on, shout, lift your voice. Come on, we're gonna sing it. When I lift my voice and shout, every wall comes crashing down. Come on. I have the authority. Yes, we do. Jesus has given me. Come on, sing it out. When I open up my mouth, miracles start breaking out. I have the authority. Yes, we do. Jesus has given me. Come on, sing it out. When I lift my voice and shout, every wall comes crashing down. I have the authority. Jesus, you have. Jesus has given me. Come on, sing it again. When I open up my mouth, miracles start breaking out. I have the authority. Come on, yes you do. Jesus has given me. You are my champion. Come on, sing it to him. Giants fall when you stand undefeated. Every battle you've won. I am who you say I am. You crown me with confidence. I am seated in the heavenly place, undefeated, with the one who has conquered it all. Come on, who does he say you are this morning? I am who you say I am, Jesus. Come on, what is your Father speaking over you this morning? Is he saying you're worthy? Is he saying you're loved? Or is he saying you're made new this morning? Come on, just dwell in all that he's saying over you.
Worthy of every song we could ever sing, worthy of all the praise we could ever bring, worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. Jesus, the name above every other name. Jesus, the only one who could ever save. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. We live for you. Holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes and wonder and show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. Worthy of every song we could ever sing, worthy of all the praise we could ever bring, worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. Jesus, the name above every other name. Jesus, the only one who could ever save. Worthy of every breath we could ever bring. We live for you. Holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes and wonder and show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me and your love to those around me. Holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes and wonder and show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. Oh Lord, Spirit, Holy Spirit, Lord, fill us with your love, fill us with your love.
I love it when we sing that song. I will put my trust in you alone, and I will not be shaken. We had a job fair here in the auditorium with 43 different companies. And I had the privilege of standing out in our parking lot and talking with every person that drove onto our property and saying, hey, we've been praying for you so that you would have the job you're looking for. And in that moment, what happened with every individual I was able to say that to, everything changed. Their faces of fear or anxiety or the frustration of some dude in a goofy hat stopping their car, it went away like that. And they said, well, really? I said, yeah. There are 43 companies inside. Are you ready? Yeah, I'm ready. I was like, no, come on. You get ready, because he's going to do it for you. They go park the car and come in and talk. But there's one story that stands out. A father and a son pull up, and they stop. And both of them got their khakis on and their nice shirt. And I said, hey, we're praying. We've been praying that you would find the job that you're looking for. And the father says, well, it's my son. He's the one that's looking for a job. And I said, you got this, buddy. Are you ready? And he kind of looked at me and he said, yeah, I'm ready. I'm like, there's 43 companies in there. They're ready for you. Are you ready? And he said, yeah, I'm ready. And his father leaned over to me and he says, he has autism. And I was like, that's okay, because God's for you and he's got something for you. Won't you pull in and park? It was such a sweet moment. When they left the job fair, they stopped. The father rolled down the window and he said, we got the job. Sometimes it just takes someone with faith to stand with you, to believe what God has for you, so that you can take that step in courage. And I'm going to invite every one of my life group leaders to come forward who are filled with faith today. They're coming forward because they're going to stand with you in agreement in anything that you're facing. No matter what it looks like, no matter what the outcomes could be, they're going to stand in agreement with you so that you can have someone who's willing to say, God is for you. He's got something ahead of you, and we're going to believe for that. And whether or not it's a job or it's some relational thing that you're going through, I want you to know that God is still on the move in the miraculous. Just this morning, my man Aaron on the keys, he asked us for prayer. He said that anytime he picks his leg up, something happens. He gets a dislocation issue, and this guy's like a black belt in karate. He trains kids all day long in karate and all this stuff. So you know that's got to be difficult. But he said, since we prayed this morning, every time I lift my leg, nothing dislocates, nothing moves, nothing hurts. And so if you're in here today and you're that person who needs that miracle, not just in your finances and in your family, because God does that, but he's also doing things inside of us as well. And if you need someone to pray with, I want you to come forward. And I don't care if everybody's got somebody standing in front of them. You come down and you just get in line, because we're going to make sure we got time to pray for you today. And if there aren't enough leaders up here, if you're a part of the chasm, you come down here and pray. If you're a student of the supernatural ministry, you come down here and pray for some people. We're going to pray and we're going to believe God to do amazing things as we continue to worship. Come on, family. Let's worship as we lean in and we bless and we continue to pray.
Time stands still. Time stands still. Whenever I'm with you, no more important place to go. There's no rush. it's okay to take it slow. Minutes turning into hours doesn't really matter. I just want you. Come on, tell him that. You're the only one I'm after. Spirit, come in power. I just want you. Only you, Jesus. All we want is you. Oh, Lord, forgive me. Lord, forgive me. I've been too busy trying to do this on my own. For your embrace is what I've been missing. I don't want to let it go. Minutes turning into hours doesn't really matter. I just want you. Come on, sing that to him this morning. You're the only one I'm after. Spirit, come in power. I just want you. I just want you. I just want you. Nothing compares to you. Nothing comes close. I just want you. I just want you. Nothing compares to you. Nothing comes close. All we want is you. All we want is you, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Oh, your sweet presence. It's all I want. Oh, if this is a glimpse of heaven, I could get used to this. Oh, I could get used to this. The fragrance of your presence, I could get used to this. Oh, I could get used to this. Oh, if this is a glimpse of heaven, I could get used to this. Oh, I could get used to this. Oh, the fragrance of your presence, I could get used to this. Oh, I could get used to this. Sing it again. If this is a glimpse of heaven, I could get used to this. Oh, yes, I could. I could get used to this. Oh, the fragrance of your presence, I could get used to this. I could get used to this. Oh, I could get used to this. Sing it again. I could get used to this. I could get used to this. Yes, I could. I could get used to this. Oh, I could get used to this. 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 Minutes turning into hours doesn't really matter. I just want you. Come on, tell him that this morning. You're the only one I'm after. Spirit, come in power. I just want you. Minutes turning into hours Doesn't really matter, I just want you. You're the only one I'm after. Spirit, come in power, I just want you. Go on, tell him you want him. I just want you, I just want you. Nothing compares to you, nothing comes close. I just want you, I just want you. Nothing compares to you, nothing comes close. All we want is you, oh, Jesus. You're all I want, you're all I need, oh. Go and sing to him this morning. Jesus,
Everything.
you're all I want. I just want you, I just want you. Nothing compares to you, nothing comes close. I just want you, I just want you. Nothing compares to you, nothing comes close. Come on, what is it in your life that has been replacing Jesus for so long? Come on, your dreams and your hopes. Do you want him more than those things? Come on, tell your Father, you're all I need, Jesus. You're all I want, Father. Oh, I could get used to this. Oh, I could get used to this. Oh, if this is a glimpse of heaven, I could get used to this. Oh, I could get used to this. Oh, the fragrance of your presence. I could get used to this. Yes, I could. I could get used to this. Oh, if this is a glimpse of heaven, I could get used to this. I could get used to this. Oh, the fragrance of your presence. I could get used to this. Oh, I could get used to this. I could get used to this. Tell them. I could get used to this. 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 Oh yes, I could, Jesus. Oh, every day I could get used to this. I could get used to this. Tell them I could get used to this. I could get used to this. I could get used to. Come on, minutes turning into hours. Doesn't really matter. I just want you. Sing to him. You're the only one I'm after. Spirit, come in power. I just want you. One more time. Minutes turning into hours. Doesn't really matter. I just want you. You're the only. You're the only one I'm after. Spirit, come in power. I just want you. Sing, I just want. I just want you. I just want you. Nothing compares. Nothing compares to you. Nothing comes close. I just want you. I just want you. Nothing compares to you. Nothing comes close. Father, we thank you that nothing in this world could ever match what your love can do for us. We thank you that your sweet presence has filled the room this morning and given us that pick-me-up that we need. Thank you, Father, for loving us and being all that we need. Guys, thank you so much for worshiping with us this morning. We're so glad that you're here. Turn to someone beside you, tell them good morning, and you can be seated.
There comes a time when we heed a certain call, when the world must come together as one. There are people dying. Oh, when it's time to lend a hand to life, the greatest gift of all. We can't go on pretending day by day that someone somewhere will soon make a change. We are a part of God's great big family, and the truth, you know, love is all we need. We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones who make a brighter day, so let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we'll make a better day, just you and me. Well, send them your heart, so they know that someone cares, and their lives will be stronger and free. As God has shown us by turning stone to bread, and so we all must lend a helping hand. We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones to make a brighter day, so let's start giving. Oh, there's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we make a better day, just you and me. When you're down and out, there seems no hope at all. But if you just believe, there's nowhere we can fall. Well, realize, oh, that a change gonna come when we stand together as one. We are the world. We are the children. We are the ones who make a brighter day, so let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives.
It's true, we make a better day. Come on, sing it out. We are the ones to make a better day, so let's start giving. Woo! You guys are the coolest. Only at CT Pasadena. only here, right? I love it. You guys are the best. How many of you guys have never heard that song? Hunter, you are a liar from the pit of hell. Put your hand down. That's my kid. I can say that. He grew up hearing only the 80s in our house. So, all right. So for those of you guys who have no idea what we just played and you're completely lost, I'm going to give you just a little bit of culture education. Number one, that's what we call awesome. The best decade of music right there. But beginning in 1983, a disastrous famine caused by a combination of civil war and drought hit Ethiopia. And it led to 1.2 million deaths, but it also affected another 7 million. And a young rock and roller by the name of Bob Geldof, he saw some media coverage of this. A journalist had gone to Ethiopia and covered what was going on there. And nobody around the world had any idea what was going on, but they started putting this on the news. And this guy, Bob, he sees it and he couldn't unsee it. It bothered him so badly. He couldn't sit still with it. He was wrestling with it. He knew that he had to do something. So he got on the phone and he called his fellow musician friends and his singer friends. And he came up with this idea of coming together in unity for this common cause. So December 1984 rolls around, and a young singer by the name of Michael Jackson and Lionel Richie get together, and they start writing a song to do just this. The brainchildren of this project began reaching out to all of the big name stars that they knew of, and they're in their networks. And they're like, listen, you got to get on board with this project. But there was something about this. It wasn't going to be a paid gig. Nobody was getting paid for this. Nobody was getting recognition for this. They were not going to be receiving anything in return for the time that they put in. Their publicists were not going to be able to put this out in the media, and they were not going to be able to tout their celebrities as being selfless. This was going to require sacrifice from them, and it was going to be exhausting because, see, the only way they could get this to happen is if they did this recording, if they created this recording on the same night of the American Music Awards show that was going to be on ABC that night. Because all of these singers, all of these musicians were going to be flying into the same location to be at the award show because a lot of them were up for an award. So they were for sure going to be there, right? They want the recognition of it. So this was the only way they were going to be able to get all these celebrities in one place at one time. So they started reaching out to them saying, listen, would you be willing to get on board with this idea? But this was going to require that the people participating, they were going to have to forego all of the expensive bougie after parties of the award show. You guys know that they have parties afterward, right? And they're celebrated. And they're given all of this free stuff. And it's awesome. They get to go, and not only do they get to walk the red carpet with their families and their friends, and they get the pictures, but they get all this free stuff, and it's amazing. But they weren't going to be able to do that if they participated in it. And they weren't going to be able to hang out with their friends and their family that they brought to the award show because nobody was allowed to go to the studio with them. All right? So they were going to have to pay a price to be involved with this. They would be asked to give up their sleep and their comfort and their prestige, all for a cause that didn't even affect them directly. Now, for some people like Lionel Richie, who was hosting the American Awards show, he was hosting, this was going to require him to be up for multiple nights. I mean, he would never go to sleep because he had rehearsals for 2 days before the award show. And he would be there at 6 a.m. and 7 a.m., and it would go all day long, and then the day of, the same thing, and he'd be there all day, and then he would have to go straight into this other project. He would work literally around the clock. So the singers who were going to attend the AMAs, they would leave immediately and head downtown to a studio, and they had to be there by 10 p.m. that night. They'd been up all day, and now they're going to start this thing that nobody even knew what they were doing. Some of the world's most famous singers and songwriters like Tina Turner, Bruce Springsteen, and my favorite, Cyndi Lauper, So those of you who do not know which one Cyndi Lauper was, she was the one with the yellow and the orange hair. And she was the one, the whole reason why I went to my mother at the age of 8 and said, would you please change my name to Cyndi? I want to be Cyndi because that's who I wanted to be. And I still believe that I can be there. I can do this. She's awesome. She's amazing. But people like Stevie Wonder and Michael Jackson and Kenny Rogers and Kenny Loggins, all of these big name people show up at the studio and they're all greeted by the same sign. It's a very simple sign that hung on the door and it said this: check your egos at the door. On January 28th, 1985, this group of 45 stars and singers came together in a legendary all-nighter event. Now, when they walked into the studio, they had no idea what to expect. See, outside the studio, they may have been in the #1 position on the top 20 billboard. And outside the studio, their faces may have been on the cover of that month's People or Time magazine. And outside the studio, they may have been one of the richest people in the world, but inside the studio, they weren't that. As soon as they crossed over into that studio, they were just another face. They were just part of the family, there to do something to make a difference. They didn't get to carry their titles, their jobs, their positions, the authority that they had outside the studio. They were there to work together to make the world better for someone else. Inside the studio, they were told where they were needed. They were told where to stand in the room. They didn't get to stand anywhere. They had little name tags on the floor or on a riser, and when they got there and they go, well, I don't like standing here. Don't you know who I am? I want to be out front. And they said, I'm sorry, you're on the 3rd bleacher. Go up the bleachers. They were told where they would stand. They were told who they would partner with. They did not get to choose their position or choose who they performed with. They were told what solo they would sing. And guess what? Some of these big name stars got there only to find out they didn't get a solo. They're like, excuse me? You just want me in the choir? There's not even going to be a hanging mic down in front of my face, nothing? And they're like, no, I know who you are, but I just need you to be a support. Quincy Jones was the producer for this project, and he said this. He said, we had one night to record something that could possibly help save people's lives. We weren't going to waste time arguing over it. Check your ego at the door. They were there to work together selflessly to meet a need in their world. And Bruce Springsteen said this. He said, anytime somebody asks you to take one night of your time to stop people from starving to death, it's pretty hard. You can't say no to that. On this one night, they chose to lay down their individuality to become a body. Now, you guys, some of you may look at that video and you're like, what in the world are we watching? You may look at it and laugh, the video quality, what's going on with their hair, what's going on here. Or some of you guys may look at it and go, oh, good grief, more celebrities who think singing a song is going to do something to cure the world. But you need to understand, this was the first of its kind. This little project married together singers and songwriters from different ages and different races and different music genres. People had never come together like this before. And this created a movement because it was unity. It brought people together that never sat in the same room, that never had a conversation. You know that some of these people did not like each other? And some of these people, some of the other people were like their idols. It's why they even got into the music business, because they were their idols, but they had never been in the same room together. They came together and they unified for this common cause. This little project was no little project. This all-nighter started at 10 p.m. and lasted until 8 a.m. the next morning. It lit a humanitarian fire that still exists today. The We Are the World single went on to sell over 20 million copies and raise $75 million for the people. This little one-night project led to the Live Aid event that took place 4 months later that would raise another $125 million for the cause. And it all came about because one man saw a need, and he couldn't sit back and wait for someone else to meet it. One man put in motion a movement that is still at work today. And people, I'm here this morning to plead with you. And I pray that you can hear this, that our world is waiting for a movement. But a movement begins when someone sees. When we see a need, and then we do something about it. James 2:14 through 17 talks about this, and it says this, it says, "What good is it, my brothers and sisters, if someone claims to have faith but has no deeds? Can such faith save them? Just suppose a brother or sister is without clothes and daily food, and one of you says to them, 'Go in peace, keep warm and well fed,' but does nothing about their physical needs. What good is it? In the same way, faith by itself, if it is not accompanied by action, is dead." How many times have we seen a need and we're like, "Bless you. I'll pray for you. I'm going to go home and pray." We see someone who's depressed. We see somebody who's hungry. We see something, we're like, "Oh, so glad I saw that. I'll be praying." People, our prayer, throw it in the trash. Is prayer good? Absolutely. But we've gotten really good at saying, "I'm going to pray for you," and thinking that's going to solve it. God doesn't need our prayers, guys. He needs our action. He needs us to put some movement into our feet. He needs us to dig into our pockets and grab that money that we're holding on to so hard. He needs our time. He needs us to show up when somebody needs their yard cleaned. He needs us to do something instead of just speaking our words because they're. We need to stop saying, "I'm going to pray for you," when all of us know we're going to go home and forget to ever even say a prayer anyway. Jesus didn't come to be served. He came to serve. And when we surrender our life to Jesus, our aim and our goal should be to become more like him. So if Jesus' life looked like service, as a Christ follower, what should my life look like? If Jesus didn't expect to be served, why do I expect to be? If Jesus saw the needs around him and was moved with compassion to meet those needs, why do I sit around waiting and hoping and praying that someone else will feel the conviction to do it so I don't have to? We live in a Burger King culture, and we want it our way. We don't mind serving when it's on our terms. When I get to choose where I serve and when I serve, with whom I serve, and as long as it's not an inconvenience to me, as long as I'm feeling good mentally and physically on the day when it comes time and I'm supposed to show up and serve, as long as I feel good that day, as long as it fits into my schedule, as long as it doesn't impede anything else, and as long as it's fun. But that's not how Jesus did it. And if we'll look, we'll see that many of the needs that were presented to Jesus came at a very inconvenient times for him. I look at his life and I'm convicted. I was so convicted when I wrote this message. I was so convicted. And just so you know, and I think I say it every time I speak, every time that I am asked to speak and I have to write a message, I get taken to the woodshed before any of you do. Just so you know. But I was so convicted at the disparity between my life and the life that Jesus lived. In Matthew 15, we see this. We see that Jesus was so tired. He had been giving and giving, and he'd been speaking all day and teaching all day to groups of people. And every time he would get up and he would move to another place, they just followed him. There was always somebody who needed to talk some more. Have you guys met those people who you've talked to them for like 5 hours and then you go home and then they call you? One more thing I forgot to tell you. I'm also struggling with this. Like, I can imagine. And everywhere he goes, there's more people. There's more needs that need to be met. And there's more people who need to be healed. And there's more people who just need to cry so he can love them. And everywhere he went, people followed. So in Matthew 15, Jesus retreats to the mountainside to sit and recuperate for just a moment, but 4,000 people followed him. Can you even imagine? Now, I have a very large family. Some of you guys have had the blessed opportunity of meeting some of them, because my family are loud. It's a big family, and they're a loud family. And so when we get together on holidays anything that we get together at my mom's house, it's really just a family reunion because everybody just, right? But they're loud. And so it is not uncommon for me to go looking for a quiet place. I will quietly escape and go and find a bedroom, sometimes the garage, sometimes it's my car, sometimes it's the Walmart parking lot. I volunteer. Oh, we need rolls? We need ice? I'll go. And it's always such a disappointment when someone finds me. And I can imagine Jesus in this setting. In this specific story, I can imagine him. And he's like, oh my goodness, I just have to get away. And he climbs up that mountain and he sits just over the other side, out of view of everybody else. And then there's that one person, we're going to call him Timmy for today. And Timmy, he's walking, he's like, oh, Jesus. Oh, hey, you guys. Woo! He's right here. I found him. I found Jesus. Which is funny because that's a play on words. I found him. And I'm thinking that Jesus' expression has to be what mine was when my mom finds me when I'm hiding, trying to get away from playing charades with the family. Because they're all of my brother's side of the family, they're gamers. They love all the heads up thing and they charades and let's sing along. Let's have a sing along and all of these things. And I hide and I can imagine Jesus' expression going, oh, Timmy, oh my, can you just go away? And yet Jesus' response to the crowd is so different than what mine would be, because mine, I'm just going to be honest, guys, I'm going to let you know as your pastor, this would be my response. It would be a hard nope, go home. I've been with you all day long. We've talked about everything that we could talk about. I'm out of words and I'm peopled out. I love you, but go home. Billy, go home. Susie, go home. Angela, you've been sick for 8 years. One more week won't hurt you. We'll reconvene this time, next week. That would be me. That wasn't Jesus. Jesus gets up and he begins to meet the needs of everybody who's there. And not only does he teach them, not only does he do those things, but he actually meets their physical needs. They're hungry. And he's like, guys, we got to feed these people. We're going to feed them. And your body is broken. Come here. Let's get you whole. Let's get you restored. We see this again in Matthew 14, where Jesus receives word that his cousin has been killed. And he wants nothing more than just to get away. He's had the heart-wrenching news that someone that he loves so much is dead. And he's grieving, and he's mourning because Jesus was human too. And his heart is broken, and he just wants to get away so he can grieve alone. But once again, the crowds of people followed him and begged him for his attention. And the Bible says this, it says, once he what? Saw their needs. He was moved with compassion, and he had to meet their needs. But guys, their needs were not convenient. This was not convenient to Jesus. Couldn't they see the pain in his eyes? Couldn't they see that he was so tired? Haven't they been with him for days upon days and upon days, and he gets up every day and he's giving out more, and he's giving out more, and he's giving out more, and he's pushing through, and they go and they take a nap, and no, Jesus keeps pushing through, and he's giving everything he has. Don't they see he has needs? It was very convenient for them. Their needs were very convenient, and they were a pressure, and they were right now. They needed him right now, but Jesus was tired. It wasn't convenient. And even the night that Jesus was going to be, even the very night that he knew was going to be the start of the worst events of his life, he didn't run away. And he didn't isolate. And he didn't say, hey guys, I'm gonna need you to give me 8 hours. I just gotta go away. I gotta get my mind right. My mind's not right. I gotta get prepared. I need some alone time. I need some meditation time. No, he didn't do that. What Jesus did was he actually stepped into it. He met with his disciples, the ones who were the closest to him, and he served them and he washed their feet and he imparted to them, do this with your life. I'm about to be gone. Live your life like this. Give your life to somebody else. Live your life as like a drink offering for somebody. Give it away. Don't keep it. Don't hoard it. Don't look for your me time. Give your life away. The world needs you. This is convicting. This is so convicting. I sat and wrote this with tears running down my face because I'm convicted. How many times have I pretended to not see a need because I was too tired? How many times have I selfishly not acted because I needed a break? How many times have I sat back and allowed someone else to continue serving because they were willing to, yet never taking it into consideration that maybe they had been praying for a relief, and I was supposed to be the answer to their prayer? Turn that off. Not convenient. We see the parable of the Good Samaritan in Luke 10. And a Pharisee comes to Jesus and asks him what he needs to do to inherit eternal life. And Jesus responds with this. He says, that's easy. Love God, love your neighbor as you would love yourself. But the Pharisee continues to ask Jesus, well, come on, Jesus, break that down a little bit. Who is my neighbor? And what the Pharisee was trying to do, he's trying to find the loophole. Really, who is my neighbor? Is it Jim? The guy who lives on the right side of me, that next door neighbor? Jim? Because if it's Jim, that's okay. I like Jim. We get along. I can work with Jim. Our personalities are good. But Jesus takes it a step further in telling this parable, and he tells a story about a man who was attacked by robbers, and he was left for dead in the street. And Jesus breaks it down, and he said multiple people come up to this man who's laying in the street, and he's bleeding, and he's naked, and he's broken, and he obviously needs help. And one guy comes, and then another guy comes, and both of them cross the street, and they're like, oh, maybe nobody saw me. Nobody saw. And you know what? This is a busy road. This is a super busy road. Somebody's coming behind me. They'll meet that need. They'll grab him. Lord, send somebody. I'll pray for you. Send somebody, God. He really needs help. I'm too busy. I got to hurry. But then a Samaritan man comes, and he could not pretend to not see the need laying in front of him. He picks up the man, and he takes him to find shelter, and he cleans him up, and he pays for his care to get him fully restored to health. And there's so much to this story. There's so much more to this story, but I don't have time to dig into this one parable. We can get there another time. That'll be another message. But the Samaritan was the only one who loved his neighbor. He's the only one who took action when he saw the need. And this is what Jesus was saying. Everyone is your neighbor. You should love every person as you would love yourself. The way you want people to treat you, the way you want people to serve you, the way you want people to love you, that's the way you should treat everyone else around you. Guys, our world is in dire need of us stepping up to the plate. Jesus came to establish a kingdom, but that kingdom is not for when we die and go to heaven. It's not for the afterlife. It's for the here and now, on earth as it is in heaven. Jesus made us ambassadors of the kingdom, and he came to establish that when he said in Matthew 28:18, All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. So now you go, he said. We have been deputized and authorized to do something about the condition of our world. It's up to us. And it does no good for us to sit around in our little small groups and complain about the condition of it, and complain about the decline of our society, and pick up our picket signs or become keyboard warriors and let everybody know what we don't stand for. Faith without action is dead. Now, I'm not saying that our works save us. Please understand, we are not talking about salvation. Jesus paid it all once and for all. His sacrifice covers it. But if we're going to be like Jesus, we're called to love, and love requires action. We cannot say that we love our neighbor if we refuse to serve them. We cannot say that we love our family by choice. Oh, I love our family by choice. I love it. My family. We cannot say that we love our family by choice if we refuse to serve each other. We cannot say that we love our neighbor if we refuse to meet the need that our eyes saw. To ignore a need is not love. And to refuse to serve is to despise. Matthew 23:11 says, whoever is your servant is the greatest among you. Jesus said humility and service is the path to greatness. So how do we change this world? Guys, we first have to understand that we are the world. Side note, my shirt. I had it made just for this service, just so you know, by Macy Hawthorne. And I'm volunteering her to make some, or if you want to pre-order them, because this is our series for this month, and it's freaking awesome, isn't it? I can say that. I'm sorry if that is a bad cuss word. Earmuffs. But it's awesome. My shirt is awesome. It's super cool. So if you want one, I don't know, go to the merch store and say you want one. Pre-order, and I'm going to beg Macy, and you can buy them through there. I'll talk to her later. People love when I do this. We first have to understand that we are the world. We live here. We are a part of this world. We are a part of this society. That thing that we always like to complain about, we are the world. So when we change the world for one, we change it for all of us. Change is necessary and beneficial for all of us. But how do we change our world? How do we change our city and our circles of influence, in our home and our church? Change it by serving one another. That's where it starts. We live our lives with eyes wide open, and we ask God to allow us to see the needs around us, and then we commit to do something about it. We don't wait and look around and hope someone else is coming. We don't weigh our options. Oh, well, I mean, if I wait long enough, maybe they'll ask me to do something I like. Yeah, I see that need. I see that need is right there. I see that nobody's doing that. And God did allow me to see it, and evidently nobody else has seen it. But maybe if I keep walking on the other side of the road, somebody will come behind me and see it. We don't weigh our options. We don't wait for the convenient times or the opportunities we like. We step in and be the answer to someone's. No one would have ever imagined the impact that this one song recorded in one night by a group of misfit singers that were thrown together would have on a nation whose people were dying of starvation. It's just a song. What can a song do? A song that came about because someone saw a need and had to do something. Nobody else was coming to those people's rescue. I'm sure there were other people who saw the news coverage that day. How many of you have seen a need? Nobody else is stepping up to the plate. That's a clue to something that God has let you see. That's a clue to something that God is saying, hey, I need you to partner with me. Read an article this last week, and there's an excerpt that I want to share with you that is is so pertinent to this message, and this is what it says. To do the big thing, to heal our land, we have to do the small things. Yet for all too many of us, that feels empty, like our small actions are simply inadequate to address the giant concerns that dominate our minds. So we ignore, neglect the small thing that we can change, focus on the big thing we barely impact. What we fail to realize is that the small things are almost always the big things. When we volunteer to serve in the nursery so an 8-month pregnant mama can have a break from serving is a huge deal, because what people don't know is she has served every weekend for months without a break. When we take that extra 30 minutes to mow our neighbor's yard while we're mowing our own because his yard is overgrown, it's a huge deal to that guy. You know why? Because nobody knows that he's working overtime so his family doesn't lose the house they're living in. And he doesn't have time to mow his yard. And he doesn't have the extra money to pay to get it done. It's huge to him. When we close our computer when somebody comes into our office and we give them undivided attention, even though we are swamped with our own work, even though we are past deadline on some of our own stuff, but we close it and we look them eye to eye and we allow them to talk. That's a huge deal to them because we have no idea that that person just suffered a significant loss and is feeling alone and unseen. Just this last week, I had someone show up at my office with just a plate of food. A simple plate of food that was it was extras from their dinner that night, and she just said, "Hey, are you at the office?" I said, "Yes," and she said, "Can you come downstairs? I'm outside. I have a plate of food for you." She had no idea. She had no clue what was going on. But this is what she didn't know, and this is why it was huge for me. I got there that day, and I didn't have time to eat breakfast, and I was in back-to-back meetings all day, and didn't get to eat lunch, and I was going into a 2-hour meeting that night that would keep me from eating dinner, and I had been suffering with a migraine for 9 days. 9 days. And you know, I don't know if you guys know, any migraine sufferers in here know that if you don't have water, if you don't have food, it just makes it even worse. And I was hurting. And I knew I had to go into this meeting. I didn't know how I physically was going to be able to do it. And she shows up with a plate of food. That was huge to me. I sat at my desk with tears rolling down my face. The small things in life are almost always the big things. These are the things that people remember. These are the things that change the world. Ronald Reagan had a plaque on his desk in the Oval Office, and this is what it said. It said, "There's no limit to what a man can do or where he can go if he doesn't care who gets the credit." The world needs change. But are we waiting until we can do some big, extravagant act that shakes the world and that everyone knows what we've done? Are we waiting to serve until we get the validation for the awesome impact we had or the part that we played? Or are we willing to step in right now, wherever we're needed, to play whatever part? Are we willing to show up and participate, even if it's without recognition and nobody even knows we did it? Are we willing to leave behind our individuality to truly become the body? God doesn't need just a right leg. He doesn't need a left hand. He doesn't need just one ear. He needs the whole body to come together, to bring every single piece and every single part of us together to be a functioning body. There are so many needs out there. It's going to take all of us. We cannot cross the street and pretend we didn't see the need. If God gave you the eyes to see the need, then He gave you the time and the resources and everything to fulfill the need. Stop waiting for somebody else. Stop complaining about the world when you're the answer to that problem. Is this the world that you want your children to be raised in? Look around. Is this the world that you want your grandchildren to grow up in? Does the world resemble heaven? And whose responsibility is it to change the world? If it's ours, then we cannot put our heads in the sand anymore and wait for the change to come. We aren't waiting to be rescued off this big, bad, terrible, awful planet. If we want to see the change, we must first be the change. If we want to see a less selfish, a less me-centered world, then we have to start practicing that and stop being selfish and stop being self-centered. Being the change requires action. It requires movement. It requires service. It requires sacrifice. It requires love. We cannot say that we love one another if we're unwilling to serve one another. As I wrote this, got to the end, I knew I was at the end of the message, and I asked God, how am I supposed to close this? What do I do? Do I have an altar call? Do I pray, God, that you will convict us? Do I pray that you'll give us the desire and the passion to make the change, to be the change, to do something? And I just felt so strongly, no. No. We've already been told to go. We've already been told to love. We've already been told to serve. We've already been told to be sacrificial. We've already been told this. We don't have to pray and ask God and to seek his face and to say, where should I go and what should I do? We do not have to ask God if we should be serving one another. All we have to do is obey. And as a Christ follower, we cannot say we are Christ followers if we put our fingers in our ears and pretend like we don't hear and we don't see the needs. That's not being a Christ follower. In order to be like Jesus, be like Jesus. We walk out his DNA. We walk out his character. We love like him. So I am going to pray, but it's a different prayer. So everyone, if you'll just bow your head. Oh, Father. I know this message. No, this isn't feel good. No, it doesn't just give everybody goosebumps. Feel all lovey-dovey. Father, I'm thankful for confrontation in life. And I'm thankful you're not necessarily concerned with comfort or with challenging. So I thank you for the challenge. Thank you for shining a light on something in my life that reveals the disparity between the way I live. I don't want the world to look at me and say, that's a hypocrite. She says one thing, another. I don't want the world to see me crossing the street. Have to confront it. I truly do want to be like you. Shine the light. Expose those things inside me. I want to be. Forgive me, Father, for shutting my eyes. Forgive me for not volunteering, or not giving, and not moving, or not speaking when you have urged me to speak. Forgive me for putting my needs and my desires on the throne of my life instead of remembering that when you said for me to come and follow you, I would have to pick up my cross and die. Let us be ambassadors. We want to be. God, you changed the world with a handful of people once. Again, through us. We commit to be the change. We commit to live with our eyes open. Commit to serve one another. Commit to not wait to be asked, but to move when we see the need. Because we know that little things done with great love changes the world. So let us be the movement the world is waiting for. We take responsibility for our world. The world that you love, the world that you sent your son for. let us be the change.
Amen. What a powerful message. If we're going to see change, then it means we have to get engaged. You know, when Amy was talking about the different ways that we can serve, and she said, for the woman who's 8 months pregnant in the nursery, she wasn't talking about just an idea. It's a real situation. Tabitha Stafford, she's been serving in our nursery faithfully. She's now 9 months pregnant. And there are just some weeks she doesn't even come to church because she's serving you. And I thought to myself, how often do I think about those that I'm passing my children off to, and I see them every week? Do I ever think to myself, when's the last time they came into worship, or they received service, or they had someone pray with them? Because they've been imparting love to my babies, praying for my kids, spending time with them, but when's the last time they received anything? You see, I can be a part of change, and I can serve in that place once a month, 12 times a year. That's all it takes to make a difference in the lives of everyone in that room, as well as those children that I'm going to spend time with. If this is what you call your family, we call it the family by choice, it's the family we choose, then this is a place where we start serving. We don't look outside of this place before we start serving here, because it's in here that we can build the character to really give something to the world out there. And so we want to make it easy for you. Tonight we have team night. Yeah, team night is awesome. Team night is a night of impartation for everyone who serves in any one of our environments. And if you're ready to take your next step in following Jesus, to take up your cross, follow Him, die to yourself, and start serving other people, you can come to team night tonight and find a team to join. We want you to find a team that you can connect with, that you can begin to serve other people, because when you begin to do the small things and you're faithful with them, God gives you so much more. So you could come tonight, find a team. You don't have to finish the Connect track yet. Connect track is just 4 videos that tell you about who we are, who you are, and how you fit. We'll let you do that after you join the team. But come tonight. You don't want to miss out. It starts at 6 p.m. Everybody say 6 p.m. That's right. You'll show up, connect with the team. It's incredible to serve here at CT Church. And we just want to see you, we just want to show you some ways that you could see how serving at this church is really awesome. Check out this video from this week. All right. Isn't that so cool? It's so much fun to serve on the lighting team. You get to throw a party with all of our lighting set up. That was super fun. For those of you who came to Marriage Mixtape, Marriage Conference, where you at? Anybody in the room? It was incredible. If you missed it, put it on your calendar for next year, 2023. Marriage Mixtape. We do incredible things here, so make sure that you are connected. And understand that when you give here at CT Church, when you return your tithe faithfully to honor God, you're giving world change right here, locally and around the world. Guys, if you need help connecting with how to join a team, we'll have our leaders in the lobby. We're so thankful that you were here worshiping with us this week. If you're a guest, please fill out a Connect card. We'd love to connect with you. But that's all we got for this week. Thank you so much for worshiping with us. We'll see you next week.
searching